invites. They come in various forms these days. Some already give a feel of how classy the wedding is going to be, and others, oh well. On today's episode of Wedding on a Budget, we take an in-depth look into wedding invitation expenses and more. Damilola Ajayi, Creative Director, Invites NG, will be telling us all there is to with wedding invites, whether you're stuck on a template to adopt, the wording, and some other unexpected twists. Keep it locked on here.
My name is Rachel Adedokun. I'm an entrepreneur, the CEO of Raise Hive. Do I still see the need for invitation cards at weddings? Actually, yes, I do. Well, because, I don't know, there are so many people that you don't want invited to your wedding, and then you just get like too much crowds. You actually have a budget for like most people, so most times you just need to give an invitation card so you'll not get unwanted people in your wedding.
Yeah, I mean, some people don't have phones, so you just hard copy still goes. I mean, it's more professional, I would say, to use a hard copy wedding invite rather than text. So yeah, I still see a need of going the old school way and sending out wedding invites through hard copy. Yeah.
I think so. It's necessary because you don't just want anybody to just come into your wedding venue just like that. You have to be invited before you come.
Anybody could just bob into your wedding like that, so you need to set caliber of people to come to your wedding.
Personally, if you don't give me an invite, I won't come to your wedding. No matter how close we are, I won't, because I'll feel you don't want me there at the first instance. That's why you didn't give me your invite, so I just stay in my house.
Invitation cards are an important part of the wedding process. Because in our culture, we're still a little bit traditional in Africa. And even aside from that, I think even in the Western world, the invitations tend to set the tone for your event. It gives your guests an idea of what they should expect at your event. So for instance, what the invitation carries, the kind of information it carries the colors of the day, it carries the dress code, it carries the theme of the event. So say it's a Great Gatsby event, it's a fairy themed event, it's a traditional event, it just sets the tone, gives your guests an idea of what they're to expect and how they should be dressed to your event and all of that. Yes, so it's really important because it sets the tone for everything else, which in turn sets the tone for your decor these days, the kind of entertainment that's expected, and everything else, pretty much.
My name is Emmanuel. I'm an event planner. Do I still see the need for invitation card for wedding? Yes, I do. Because it's necessary. You don't want to have a bunch of random people at your weddings, and you might actually want to gather a group of friends, known people, not just a bunch of random individuals circulating all around. You're happy. I mean, it's a happy day. You want to do it with people you know, people you love, and not just a whole bunch of random individuals.
Well, the thing is, you can't really go to anywhere without having an invitation for that place. So I think invitation card is really necessary for you to attend any occasion, because you can't just go there and be like, who invited you here? It's just to avoid embarrassment and everything. So I really prefer it's good you have an invitation to any wedding.
Because in a way, it kind of helps you manage your cost. It helps you, manage the crowd that comes in, because sometimes you do not want some kind of people getting into your event or your function or something. So you definitely want to control the crowd for security and also for cost control.
Yeah, I do, because most times when people are actually asked to come for a wedding, without an invitation card, they won't know whose wedding, aside people who truly knows the couple. But you not knowing the couples, you're just going to the wedding and not knowing their name. To me, I see it as a bad thing. So I feel invitation card is definitely necessary.
Somehow I would say yes, because in some ways, people like that colorful invitation card and special. You know, some people keep them at home, and so it's something they look at and they have a memory of whatever the wedding is. It's not something that you have for a while and delete out of your. It's a memory. Is a memory that stays even, in people's wardrobe, in their bookshelves. So.
The most requested type of invitation cards by couple these days are laser cuts. Laser cuts came into Nigeria a few years ago and clients have been crazy about it. But then I think in 2019 they've calmed down a bit. Some clients will just come and tell you, I like to make inquiries. I don't want laser cuts. Like, okay, why? They're nice. And like, no, there's too much of it because, well, that's what a lot more people actually go for. So yeah, the laser cut is still a winner every day.
Hi, my name is Fumi Williams. I'm the founder of Dark Skin Designs, wine to Afrocentric clothing made in Nigeria. Would I rather soft copy invite or hard copy invite? Personally, soft copy invite is fine by me. Personally, or rather, I would say our generation, I feel we work better with the social media. Emailing of invitation cards might work for us because we're more of the, what they call it, the computer, But for other people, so many of the older people don't really believe in this email thing. So I feel it works both ways. So for the cards, I feel older people can still go along with it. Although we have some older people that work with emails a lot, like my mom, she's really old, but she works well with emails. But not everybody is privileged to understand. But for we youngsters, I feel giving us cards is outdated.
I think both, combination of both. You might misplace this hard copy and then you can just show the soft copy as an evidence. Or if you're like the kind of person that don't like carrying things around, you can always show the soft copy.
Either is fine, but soft copy is more practical given that now with technology you can access your email, your phone, laptop, whatever, and it saves the actual couple from hassle. So yes, soft copy would be better.
We're in the era of social media, so distance and other things, I would rather you send soft copies, but there are some people you still have to give hard copies to. So both works.
The use of e-invites, how it has affected the use of hard copy invites. I would agree it probably has some sort of effect, yeah, but not as much. Nigerians generally, I would say, would rather send an hard copy invite to their guests because aside from the fact that, in the Western world, yeah, people do it, some still send out hard copies, some would rather e-invites because, well, we didn't have internet until just some years ago. Many years, I understand, but then there was no way we could do that back then when we didn't have internet. But even with internet, not everyone is on internet. For instance, say you're having a wedding and the elderly ones, your parents' friends are probably not on internet. And even if they were, say your mom's friends are on WhatsApp, and we know how parents are, and then you send them a WhatsApp invite, and it'll be like, so she's all grown now, so even your parents, they'll be like, nah, just make my own invitations for me for my friends, because I've actually had cases where, for instance, clients come to me and they say, I didn't want invitations at all for my weddings, but my parents, they insisted, or I wanted just the small access cards. And, my parents are like, that small thing, no, I can't send that to Chief Kinikon, like that. And they would rather send something very handy, So yeah, I think it's also because we're Nigerians and we kind of attach some form of respect and formality to the process of sending an invitation, an hard copy invitation. So yeah, I think it has come to stay. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, the use of hard copy invites. So yes, the e-invite has not really affected much.
My name is Adebajola Kemisala. I'm a fashion designer. The strictly by invitation rule, stopping unwanted guests, no, not in Nigeria. It doesn't stop people. They will still come and tell you, I'm a mother, I nannied her, I did this. Doesn't stop people.
It works. I've seen it work. It works and it helps to reduce the number of people coming. unless you have a budget and be sure of it. You're expecting this number of people and this is what they are coming.
Yes, it does. When I give you an invite and I say, okay, fine, you can bring a +1. Of course, when you get to the door, the security would ask you, who is your +1? And that just makes 2 of you or just 1 of you. So it saves you cost and so many other problems. So I like it.
Yes, strictly by invitation helps avoid unwanted guests. But in Nigeria, I don't think it does, because the moment you give someone an invite, that person already coming with someone, my family, my girlfriend or something. So, but I feel it is very necessary to have that.
The tag strictly by invitations would definitely keep our people, unwanted guests particularly, out of weddings. Yes.
So what's the time frame required to notify guests and the time to send out your invitations? There's no one way to it, but usually, of course, we know most of the time your guests already know about your wedding from word of mouth before you actually send out the invitation. So yeah, there's no telling when you want to tell people. It depends on you. Most of the time, when you pop the question, everybody hears and they already know the date, or different things basically. So it depends on the client. But for the invitations, you need to start thinking. Funny enough, I realize a lot of Nigerians, we do not think about the invitation until it's almost too late, or when most things are actually sorted. Of course, you need to get certain things sorted before the invitation, because you need those information to go in the invitation, like your church address, your reception address. You need to know where exactly your date needs to be booked. You ought to have paid and be sure you're using that place. But once all those things are sorted, you need to start ordering your invitations at least 3 months before your wedding. This is why. So there are 2 kinds of invitation. There are custom-made invitations and there are semi-custom-made invitations. The custom-made invitations are the ones where you say, I'd like my invitation to look like an Hermes bag because that's my favorite kind of bag. Or you'd want your business logo to be crafted in a way or laser cutted in a way and be like a crest on your wedding envelope, your wedding invitation envelope. Regardless of what you want to customize, custom making takes longer time. So we need at least 3 to 4 weeks to custom make something for you. If you are not very particular about design, you just want something nice that you've probably seen before, and we can just print on something that's been made, mostly imported cards. It can take between 5 to 7 days, sometimes even less. So depending on what kind of invitation you already know you're going for, you need to plan accordingly. And regardless of which one, your invitation ought to have been done and delivered to you max 7 weeks before your wedding. And you need to start sharing within the 6th week. That's 6 weeks to your wedding, right? I think, yeah. Of course, you can send before then. But then, so I've heard people say things like, we sent invitations 3 months ago and we needed to send a reminder. So we need an e-invite for a reminder. And I'm like, I don't get, why would anyone forget? Of course, if your invitation is something that makes a statement, of course, people will look forward to it even for 5 months, you get. But if it's not anything fancy, so maybe the kind of people you're inviting are people who goes to party every other week. And they've had like several invitations and your own was 3 months ago, they will just mix the date up and not remember which week yours falls into. So yeah, 6 weeks is a short and not so long time for you to send out invitations.
Do I think strictly by invitation really works? Yeah, I do. Depending on the kind of wedding you're organizing, especially. some weddings you can just see any person could just come into your wedding, so it depends.
Yeah, strictly by invitation we keep unwanted guests out, because when I have my bouncer, you don't have the soft or the hard copy, you can't come in. You can't come in, sorry.
If you come to my wedding and you bring your brother, let it be just your brother. Don't bring your grandma or anybody. So it should be strictly by invitation. Just you. Maybe it's just you and a plus one.
Yes, it does. It's better, because I don't want too much population coming to my wedding. Then after eating, then don't drop gift or money. So the lower the population, the better.
Sadly, it doesn't, because it depends. And then these days, some people could hear, okay, maybe some very popular celebrity, might be having a wedding or something. I've even heard that people, wedding crash, like pay to get invited to some weddings because they feel, okay, they might connect or meet some certain people there. So sadly, it doesn't work, because at the end of the day, you might be like, okay, I want just 50 people there, but you would see that the 50 might end up being 50,000 people there. So you could still control it, but there's little or nothing you can do these days.
Crowd control has always been a problem in African weddings. I wouldn't say Nigerian weddings, I think African weddings. And how I would advise my client to go about crowd controlling at their wedding. So there's no one way again. One of the options are access cards. So sometimes the invitation design or style is big, it's bogus, it's a box, it's a large envelope, depending on the design. And it's not something people want to carry to your event on the day, or they probably just want to strip the parts they need and bring because, I don't want anything to happen to it. It's so lovely, I want to keep it. So you want to make tiny access cards, because they're easy to carry. It can be in their purse. Even if someone traveled, maybe they got a large box of your invitation with several other things in it, and there's a tiny access card, they put it in their wallet and they traveled and they were coming from the airport. They don't have to go back home to go and get the invitation, because it's already something that can just fit in their wallet. They can come straight. And the show of the access card, of course, when it says strictly by access card, it's easy to control crowd, also because the access cards are not easily, they're not things that you can easily imitate compared to, just the normal printed paper, yeah? Because one of the things I think are the major problems for crowd controlling is when the invitations can be duplicated. So people duplicate the invitations and they come to crash your parties. I've seen people photocopy invitations. So parents would be like, it's finished, and we still have people who want to send out. Okay, don't worry, if you can't, they just make a photocopy and send out to a couple of their friends. And the moment the party crashers know that, some people will be coming with the photocopy, they will find a way to get a photocopy as well, and they get into your event uninvited. Another thing that I think does not really have to do with invitations that is very important for crowd controlling is security, right? You need to invest in security for your events. I think that I've heard people say, no, it's not necessary. But if you really want to control crowd, it's not even about controlling crowd alone. Sometimes it's about safety for your guests, because you're not trying to control crowd maybe because I've heard people say, we have a lot of food, we have a lot of drinks, what are we trying to control crowd for? Let everybody come and eat. It's a joyous celebration. But then there are people who don't just come to celebrate with you. These days, there are people who come to steal at your event. You don't want such people coming into your event. So yeah, making unique invitations are one of the ways, so they can't be easily duplicated. Investing in security, good security, trustworthy security companies, because not all of them are, I would say. Yeah, so that's very important. And when I say security, I've seen people say, I know ASP something. They'll bring a truckload of Mopo. No, not that kind of event securities. specifically event security is very important. They know the way these people do, they know the things, the gimmicks that they already use in trying to get into your event without being an invited guest. So yes, invest in security. That's very key to control crowd.
My name is Ongoing Derito or Koi. I'm a designer, I'm a marketer and a brand strategist. Personally, yes, the weddings I've done, they're strictly that. I do not like seeing faces I've never seen all my life. I don't want to know you on my wedding day, sorry. When I look around, I want to see everybody that I know, so that when I smile, you'll smile back, not like, who are you? No, I don't want that.
Yes, it will, because you have to present your card before coming in, so the place won't be flooded with unknown people.
I think strictly by invitation will help in controlling crowd, because I feel when something is strictly by invitation, you don't expect a random person to just come to your wedding. That is what I feel.
Strictly by invitation, in Nigeria, it does not really work. You can make strict invitation and be expecting one person more.
No, it doesn't work at all. There's always a neighbor that will tell a neighbor to bring a neighbor along. So you end up having a community instead of probably 100 or 200 people as earlier planned.
What makes Invite.ng stand out from other invitation brands are our attention to detail. We pay great attention to detail of every single invitation. We are very particular about the texture of the material that we use. For instance, generally paper is most of what we use if the invitation is a paper-based invitation. And I'm particular about the texture. So there are invitations that we make that you would never find the texture of paper, at least in our country, except because you have an Invite.ng invitation. So yeah, we import all of our paper actually. As we know, in Nigeria, we do not. I do not know of a paper mill in this country. So yeah, we import most of our materials, and then we pay attention to the texture of the paper, to the print. The print quality is paramount. It's actually the number one thing that we pride ourselves in, especially when it comes to foil print. You should go on our Instagram and see we pride ourselves in. We do foil good. We make foil look good. Yeah. So yeah, we're very particular about our foiling. We're particular about our designs, yeah? Even though we don't get to make the decision of the design a lot of times, the client does, but then we advise you, we tell you what looks better. If you're giving us ideas that would maybe turn down the slayness of your invitation, it won't portray our brand, right? So yeah, we're particular about designs, we're particular about print quality, we're particular about cardstock texture and all of that. And that is, I think, what makes us stand out from every other invitation company.
The gist couldn't have been better. Whatever choices of invites you go for, getting the right professional services will help in making things so much easier. And that's all for today's episode of Wedding on a Budget. Till next time, bye for now.